Good evening, my name's Alex Campbell.
And my name's Stephen Wilson.
And you're watching the third episode of Discussing Stargate.
Go home, little girl, you don't belong with me. Go home, little girl, you're not in love with me. Go home, little girl, don't let the trouble brew. Go home, little girl, you don't know what I do. Go home, little lady, don't you...
Alright, so my initial impression of this episode is, I don't like it. I don't think it's executed very well, I don't think it looks very good, and I don't think the story is very well written. I would probably put it in the bottom 30 episodes of SG-1.
Well, so I've watched this series 5 times.
Yeah.
And at this point in time, this is definitely one of the episodes that I skip over. I don't. This is not. There's no real character development. There's
nothing happens in the long game.
Maybe if you're watching this for the first time, I guess you should watch it.
Yeah, if you haven't seen SG-1 before and you're watching through it, watch it.
But it's not really an indicator of the rest of the series at all.
Thank God, because Alex would not have been on board.
I would have just turned off.
Yeah.
Damn. Guess I'm gonna have to cancel that Oprah interview. What is an Oprah?
After they've come through the gate and they, talk about the ruins and blah blah blah, they go through and we meet our first extra character.
I am Abu of the Shavadai.
From the get-go, not a very great actor at all.
No, his delivery is rather awkward and the timing and spacing of his delivery is rather odd a lot of times.
Very jarring.
You are not from the people of the river.
And this is a trait that you see in a lot of 90s sci-fi serials and whatnot. Is and something that maybe can be a bit jarring for a first-time viewer of Stargate is the and they never really talk about this point, is all these foreign cultures and stuff that are supposedly transplanted from Earth's past, speaking modern English.
Yeah, well, there's a moment where O'Neill engages Abu. And he's like, comprehende, blah, blah, blah. And Abu's just like, I speak perfect English.
You okay? Okay.
Oh. Yes, I am. Thanks be to you.
It takes you out of the emotion a bit. You're a bit like,
But then you get used to it.
Yeah, I guess they're just trimming it down again so they can just smash you in, tell a fresh story, and they're not weighed down and bogged down by every culture, every episode, figuring out the language differences. Later
on, as fantasy and sci-fi series become sort of more trodden ground, you do see a few other series that will explain this better, like Vikings is a great example of how to do that. That
does a very good job of showing the different languages and going through the two cultures trying to communicate. But the show, Stargate, just doesn't bother. Yeah. Like, Atlantis is even more egregious. They go to a different fucking galaxy, and these Wraith, they're just like, got a New Jersey accent.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, we speak English.
Perfect.
Yeah, the Wraiths from a different galaxy, but we speak perfect English.
There can be no confusion.
Sooner or later, we're going to end up on opposite sides.
Yes, but not today. Do we have an agreement?
We do.
I believe among your people it is customary to shake hands.
So the narrative theme of the episode, and we have talked about this before, is essentially oppression of women, which, and I'll preface this, is, it's a theme that can be done. It's like any other narrative theme.
Yeah.
Handled well and executed properly and well thought out, it can be just as exciting and intelligent as anything else.
Yeah.
But a trend that I sort of noticed with this sort of theme and a few others is, just very ham-fisted.
Yeah, very heavy-handed. It should have been a lot more subtle.
In our land, if a man wants a woman, she can say no.
The episode is written by a woman, Catherine Powers, and there are scenes where Jackson basically looks down the lens and goes, audience, it's wrong to beat women.
If we do not find them, I will pay whatever you ask for the loss of Qatar.
We can't do that. We don't own our women.
Truly?
Yes.
And there are a few lines of Carter, it's real cringe-worthy, where it's like, women can do anything, women are powerful. And that's fine. I don't have a problem with that thing, but the way it was handled was not subtle.
Well, so, what did you say her name was? The writer?
Catherine.
Catherine, she's done a few other episodes that I quite enjoyed quite a bit.
But she's not a bad writer.
As we discussed, I think it was in Children of the Gods, this sort of theme with Carter and this attitude.
Moral high ground.
Yeah, it goes away after a while anyway.
Yeah, thank God.
Thank God.
If you need to beat a woman to feel like a man, try me.
So after they've saved this young Mongolian kid from just a random pack of dogs, which may or may not be wild dogs, it's not really made clear why this is happening.
Yeah, they kind of look like German Shepherds.
Just a random pack of German.
Yeah, just chasing him, going to eat him. That's what wild dogs do. They actively attack human beings.
I said to Alex that it's funny because a lot of the places that they will go to, they have an initial confrontation with the populace. You know, something's wrong.
Culture barriers.
You know, and so they get threatened. And I find it funny that and the characters of these cultures don't know it, but they're very lucky that they don't follow through with the confrontation, considering an automatic weapon.
Yes. I don't think they'll do well against Tilk or O'Neill just opening fire on them.
They wouldn't be very happy to be turned into a blood.
Yeah,
blood
it'd be a great
mix.
visual though, and I wish they opened more episodes.
Well,
Tilk
at least one
and
episode of just mowing them down.
Yeah.
You get what you asked for.
Whoops. Jackson's like, what are you doing? And he's like, American military.
Fuck off.
The time approaches!
So after the second encounter with a group of different people, then we get introduced to the chieftain, which is the young boy's father.
Yeah.
And so this is now the third dialogue confrontation about Carter being a woman and, you know, setting up this theme. And by this point, it's already become tedious.
Yeah, they're just hitting you over the head with it.
No! I cannot look at you!
Not one is a woman.
One is a woman?
She speaks. She dies.
We get it.
Yeah, this culture isn't accepting to women wearing men's clothing or being out in the open or not covering their faces.
That's it. Like, okay, we're done, we get it, let's move on.
One of the basic story elements of Stargate is Ra came, he got the humans, and he spread them through the galaxy to, like, work in mines, slave labor, servants, stuff like that. So, presumably, one of the Goa'uld took these Mongolians onto this planet for a reason. We're not shown that reason, we don't know why. But Jackson says that these people are basically straight out of Genghis Khan's era 900 years ago.
I mean, this camp could literally belong to Genghis Khan. It's a living exhibit of a way of life that's been extinct for 900 years.
And it just kind of came to me, like, why haven't they progressed culturally at all in that almost 1,000 years they've been on this planet, isolated from the rest of humanity? They've just, like, stagnated, which I guess happens.
The natural evolution of the cultures is into sort of a semi-Goa'uld culture,
Yeah.
slaves, with various aspects of the places that they came from. And, so transplant, I don't know who, as you say, I don't know who they transplant them, considering that the initial revolt against the Goa'uld was, 3,000 years ago? So then 2,000 years after that, there was another Goa'uld still there.
Ancient Egypt and Genghis Khan, there's a bit of a time gap there.
Yeah, so it's not quite clear as to exactly what's happening, but I guess that's neither here nor there. You've got the culture.
But even like the clothing has not evolved. They're just wearing the Mongolian garb that they wore 900 years ago when they were transplanted onto this planet. Like, surely the clothing would evolve and change. So So they set up these two chieftains in this episode. There's a tyrannical chieftain and the moral chieftain, and these characters are just two-dimensional characters. One's evil and bad and likes oppressing women. The other is moral and feels love and wants to change society.
You run your place and be obedient, or you will suffer far worse than a beating. Is that why you only have one wife? To set a kind of example?
My people see it as a weakness.
Because you love her?
And it's bad writing in my opinion. They're not believable or realistic characters. I think it would have been a better idea to combine them into one chieftain and have conflict with him. He's culturally forced to oppress women, but he has these moral obligations and he's fighting with that.
So with this dichotomy of the two extremes, and this comes into Star Trek actually with the Prime Directive. You've got these foreigners, you know, they come through the Stargate and they're like what, 2,000 years more advanced than these people or whatever.
Yeah.
And they come in and immediately, and it's essentially contrived. Immediately they're like, no.
Yeah.
We don't do that in our time. You can't do this. You can't do this. You can't do this. You know, you need to be more morally just forcing their values onto them.
Straight up. SG-1 is just like, that's immoral for our culture. We don't care about your culture. It doesn't matter if we're far more advanced. You have to do this. You can't do that.
This is your values now.
No, she is my daughter. She will marry a chieftain, the desert warlord Chimaka.
Father, please.
It is done. Chimaka will come on the next moon.
It's 3 days. How can you do that to your own daughter?
They established several times that they're going to kill Carter and women can't talk in public, can't wear men's clothing. So Jackson has the idea that she should kind of integrate into their culture and do the, what's the term? Anthropologist.
Yeah.
So she dresses in their garb and the men go out to a party. And they party all night, drink some ale presumably, go to bed without checking on Carter.
Yeah, nobody like checked up on her, you know, it seems like 8 or 10 hours have passed, she's just allowed to be by herself.
O'Neill wasn't concerned that there seemed to be imminent threat to Carter's life. They wake up in the morning, she's been kidnapped.
And they say it with the line, oh, nobody's seen this since last night. Well, was the party so important that you couldn't check up on it? Especially... So, you know, they're this sort of military outfit, right? And they've got all their gear on and they've got radios and they've got guns and knives and everything. And so they went out of their way for Carter to take off all that equipment and put it down, you know, and put up this stupid bloody thing and then put herself in a vulnerable position. They've got no reason to trust these people. We've established that. They've been like hitting home at us that, you know, these people are not like you. They even say it a couple of times as well, why can't we just send her back?
I'm thinking we should just go back while we're ahead.
If we learn their customs, we'll be okay.
You know, well, next time we'll bring an all-male team. Well,
This woman thing isn't really working out, bit of a cultural
Just do
conflict.
it anyway, though.
Yeah.
Just do it anyway, so that way there is nothing impeding what's going on. And had they, it seems to me like that would be, like, within the guidelines of protocol, you know? Oh, well, this is not gelling with what's happening, so send it back, bring someone else, now we've got it, now we can do what we need to do and go home.
Exactly.
And
No, they don't.
Seems contrived.
It does.
If we learn their customs, we'll be okay.
So, now they're coming into the village with the son that they've rescued, I guess. It's sort of vague as to what is exactly happening. They were chasing after him and he was gone for some reason. I don't know. And so they were coming back and he was getting like a hero's welcome. They were like,
They cheer every time he comes back? How long was he gone? Was he on an epic mission?
Well, they didn't really, as I said, you know, the passage of time, they didn't really get a sense as to what is exactly happening. It just seems more of a contrived scenario.
I like to think that every time somebody leaves the village to urinate in the forest or something like that, every time they come back, there's a hero's welcome.
Yay! So after she's been kidnapped and we've got all the characters stupidly going, oh, where is she? We don't know what's going on, right? Then the next scene is her with her captor. None of the other men that captured her though, because there were at least 3 or 4 dudes, just the son of the chieftain.
Yeah.
And they're sitting down. She's bound with her arms in front of her, in front of her, and he's like feeding her. Oh, you got to eat and rest, and it seems to me, and this is something else that happens throughout the episode, is Carter should be a much more capable character.
Yes.
She's a military person.
Had combat training.
The best of the best. You know, they even talk about how she's had advanced combat training.
Yeah. This kid looks like he weighs 60 kilos. Sure, he might be a Bruce Lee, but she doesn't even engage him.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, are you going to sell me to a tyrannical
you can't
chief?
do that. I'm not property.
I'm a woman. You can't sell women's. It just doesn't engage him.
And you know, everything that the character says in outrage to what is happening with this culture and the society, what's happening to her, like, you can't sell me, I'm not property. Well, you are property though. That is what is happening to you right now.
Property.
You are property. You are about to be sold.
Yeah.
Do you not understand what is happening to you? So some sort of struggle, some sort of, it's very like a damsel. She just becomes a damsel in distress sort of thing.
Yeah, just wilting scarlet, just like complaining.
I will trade you.
You can't do that.
I can.
I'm a human being, not property.
So SG-1 is filmed in Canada, and presumably they couldn't find another Asian female lead to perform dialogue, because the tyrannical chieftain's daughter does not look of Asian descent whatsoever.
Completely different ethnic background, and again, it's something that's very jarring. You know, it just I can't imagine the reason. I guess because she had dialogue, they wanted like a higher tier of actress. I guess. Racist.
Well, especially because one of the big selling points of Carter, no pun intended, is that she's like a white woman with blue eyes. Like, I have never seen a white woman before. Your daughter is Western as fuck.
Yeah.
Father will kill you.
Come away with me. Tonight.
No, I cannot now go before they find you here.
I have listened to the wind. You will come. I will wait for you by the Tem tree.
That's staying in the final cut. Oh, it didn't even break.
Did not.
It just fell into the broken glass from when I smashed my own glass.
So now they're in the yurt of the tyrant chieftain, and the son's trying to the son of the other chieftain is trying to sell Carter as a very valued prize, and they're talking about and they're haggling and whatnot. And every 5 minutes she does not understand what is happening to her. She keeps trying to force the point. Hey, you can't do this. You can't do this. Blah blah blah. I won't shut up. Multiple threats. Like this is a life or death situation for this character.
Yeah, and she should cotton on to that. She's an intelligent character. She's in a hostage situation, and instead of just going with it and doing something intelligent, try to sneakily escape, she just keeps on going. What? You can't do that. How dare you? I'm a woman.
Let me tell you what I do. I raid and burn the tents of my enemies. I slaughter the men, trade the women and children. For this, I am feared. And because of that fear, I have the allegiance of 22 tribes.
But you have to sell your daughter off to make it 23?
The main characters have plot armor, essentially, and that can be used in a bad way or a good way. You can skirt around it. You can move up to the precipice of it's. Oh well, they are in danger, but then they overcome it, which is fine. And when done well, it works. And you still get a sense of tension with the character. But one of the things that stuffs it all up is when the characters act as if they've got plot armor.
Yeah. Even if the character isn't in danger of being murdered, we have to think that they might get killed off.
How would you like to be hung upside down with dust-filled rags stuffed in your mouth and nostrils? Slow death from suffocation.
She doesn't know this, but his threats are kind of empty. She disobeys him several times, escapes out of the village, talks back, just keeps on firing at him. It's like, I will beat you if you do this again.
I will kill you, I
will beat you. She escapes, comes back like, if you escape again, I swear, this time I will definitely beat you.
What kind of woman are you?
Yeah.
Turn around.
No.
So now after the trade, which went badly, naturally, she's in the I guess the women's section of the camp with the other women. She's been
isolated,
put to work, you know, and so she's surrounded by women.
A cheap clothesline with blankets hanging around to separate the women.
Very, very authentic.
Yes.
Obviously, the character would be looking for the opportunity to get out of this situation, which is fine. So then, as soon as the women walk away, you know, she bolts. She's gone. Well, it's broad daylight. She's been there maybe 4 hours or something.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you can't wait for nightfall. She steals a horse, which you're going to be more noticeable with a horse.
Yeah.
You know, like you are a target now. And so she's done that, she's gone, she couldn't have thought of a better plan, couldn't have bided it at a time.
Taken off that bright blue dress and wrapped herself in like a...
leaves or something, like camouflage, literally
yeah.
anything. And it just speaks again that now I'm getting the impression that this character is not very competent at all. When she's riding on the horse, on the trail, like the main trail out of the camp, and I know what the scene is supposed to be. It's supposed to be that there are sentries on guard watching the trail.
Who guard the perimeter constantly.
But it's just filmed in such a way where it was as if they knew she was coming.
There were guards waiting in the forest for Carter to ride out on a horse for hours and hours.
She's that predictable.
Yeah. They just come out of the rush and whistle and the horse knocks straight up. And see if she was wearing a men's garb. She like got rid of the dress, found some men's garb, dressed up. They would have just been like, hey, there goes one of our fellow Mongols.
Once she's captured, she sort of struggles, but it's sort of like, but she's got like a knife. Even though she was thrown off the horse, she can't grab the knife and like, just literally anything.
Yeah.
Other than
military officer, combat trained. No.
You belong to Turget.
Let me go.
It's funny that the blatant theme of this episode is women are powerful and can do anything, and then they make Carter this captured,
ineffectual character.
Yeah, it just keeps on being captured and compromised. You can't outwit them. She doesn't try to fight them.
Risking her life constantly for no reason.
Yeah, it's a very old 50s damsel in distress kind of thing.
And any way you look at it, women's work is not for sissies. Most men would have a hard time of it if they were to change jobs with wife, mother, or girlfriend. The homemaker walks miles every day, from sink to icebox, from cupboard to stove, and from kitchen to dining table.
So there's a scene where the tyrannical chief's daughter comes in. She's holding a bowl and she's supposed to like accidentally drop it?
Yeah, well, so she's so overcome with grief at her current situation that she fumbles and whatever. But it just looks like, and you watch it, you know, it's awful. She's just walking, she's just going, bah. It's like that. And it's fucking stupid.
Alright, lads, camera action now. Pretend you're dropping that bowl.
Yeah. Should we do another take? No, that's it. I want to go home. We're done. Move on.
Keep on rolling.
Which seems to be a theme with a lot of the scenes. That
I like to know like what the shooting schedule was, how long they had to film this episode.
That's a good
it seems very
tight because a lot of these scenes seem like either A, right, they just couldn't get a better take out of any of these people.
Or the director was oblivious, or
they didn't have time because they seem like the first take shots.
Alright, you got one take, don't fuck this up.
Yeah, that's it. No, one go and that's it.
But still, not a good actress.
No.
Like, I'm no fucking actor, but if I was cast in a role to drop a ball, I could do a better job than this.
So yeah, the between the son of the good chieftain and the daughter of the bad chieftain, they seem like young child actors, which can be good or bad, but generally bad more so of the time.
Late teens, early 20s, couple roles under their belts maybe, but yeah, not great actors.
We're travelers from very far away.
¿Sí, abogada?
Sure.
Never have we met anyone from that far away. You will be doubly welcome in my father's camp.
So SG-1 and the moral chief track down Carter and engage them. They end up buying her? They just buy her back?
Yeah, well, so they initially try to barter for her with gold and stuff, and then Daniel Jackson, which if you know anything about bartering, you know the ways that you can strengthen your bartering position and weaken your bartering position. And one of the ways that you weaken it is by essentially saying, well, we really need this person. Where this person, please, which so Daniel Jackson's rattling off. Oh well, she's a chieftain and she
starts
knows
attacking the tyrannical chief's morals and way of life and stuff.
And it just doesn't.
So you should sell her to us because in our world she's a fighter and an intelligent person. And it's just like, she was my wife, she was stolen, I own her, you need to give her back.
Cartier is our chieftain. Our people need her.
And so once they'd emptied all their bartering chances, then Jack O'Neill's pulls out like a gun. So
that's right.
Now we're giving guns to these people.
The anti-prime directive.
Yeah, the anti-prime directive. It's like, well, okay, you won't take gold, you won't take it. How about a fucking 9mm handgun? Yeah. Primitive thing.
Civilization.
And he says, oh well, it's only got 6 shots or something. It's a gun.
Get out. You have nothing I want.
Oh yeah?
The time approaches!
So they get Carter, they take her away, and there's this whole subplot which we haven't even talked about, which is Abu in love with the tyrannical chief's daughter.
Which I don't care about.
Yeah, I don't care about.
Well, so the tyrannical chief's daughter is a MacGuffin, right?
Yeah. They have to go back to save her from being stoned to death, even though it's cultural norm in this society, because it's not moral to Carter.
Well, so they're on their way, right? So SG-1 and the good chief, and they're on their way. They've done their job. They've gotten Carter, and they're gone. They're resting in the forest, and then
roll credits.
And then Abu, comes back and he delivers another bunch of terrible lines of dialogue. You've got to help me.
Really bad delivery. Yeah, and it's like, no, you just kidnapped Carter.
We have no skin in this fight, and then Carter comes back again, where she clearly hasn't learned her lesson.
Now, if you don't help me, she will be stoned to death.
Are we going to save every woman who's being sold in culture, every stoning? Are we going to upturn this entire culture and force our morals on them?
Carter's whims,
Or is it just this chick? It's just this chick. Alright, well, let's go back and save her.
If I was one of the other women at the tyrannical chief's village, one of the wives of the oppressed women, I would be really bitter that these people come back and save her. And it's like, well, what about me? What about her? What about her? No, fuck them. We don't care about them. Just this chick.
So they come back just in time. Rocks are raised, ready to stone her to death, and SG-1's like, we found an obscure law in the back catalogue which saves her. And the tyrannical chief's like, that law doesn't exist. And Abu, or the good chief...
the good chief's like,
yes, it does.
Yes, it does. Oh, well, thank you for clarifying that. I thought I was right, but you clearly make a very persuasive argument.
You have no say here, Shavadai.
Stoning may be challenged by another chieftain.
There is no such law.
There is.
And they specifically mention a chieftain is the one that can do this. Nobody else, a chieftain. And then, you know, the tyrannical chiefs were like, well, I'm not going to fight a cripple, who's the old, you know, good chieftain. And then Carter pipes up, oh, well, I'll fight you.
Yeah.
Well, so, you know, Daniel Jackson did establish that she was their chieftain.
He said that in passing.
But she didn't know that,
Because
or at least
what?
we were never shown that.
Yeah.
Did she read the script too?
Yes.
Yes.
Although he didn't.
No, he didn't read the script, no.
Yeah, so the heavy-handed nature of this episode really amalgamates at this point.
So unless there's another chieftain who will challenge my decision.
I challenge it.
Literal fight between man and woman. Carter and the evil tyrannical chief.
And, you know, it's like...
Just really cringeworthy. Well, I'll fight him. Woman power.
Woman power. Well, you know, and I guess it's a good fight, except for the fact that the chieftain's wearing, like, full chainmail.
Chainmail, yeah.
And she's able to, like, slice him with a combat knife.
She, like, comes into his side and...
Did she stab him? I'm pretty sure she, like, sliced him. Yeah.
Show clip now. Anyway, he draws blood. I don't know. Maybe, I guess. Also, it brings up the question, did Mongolians have chainmail?
Oh, yeah, I don't know about that.
I know they have.
I know that they had the leather armor. Oh, they were pretty advanced. Maybe.
We'll let that one slip.
Put that. We'll research it and we'll.
Yeah, we'll show you now. So anyway, she busts the chainmail, the fight happens, and she wins because, you know, woman power. Yeah. She's on the ground, she's got a knife to his neck, a combat knife, pressing it up against his jaw.
Pressing it like really hard.
Talking and stuff, and it's a very blunt knife.
Yeah.
By law, there can be no war between us.
And me? And me?
You have won. You are also free to go.
Well, yeah, like a real like military grade knife that's sharpened to spec.
If you press that up against the skin, it draws blood.
I imagine like, you know, the proper scene where she's pressing up against him and accidentally cuts his jugular as he sort of goes and drowns in his own blood. See, now that would have been a more satisfying thing.
So she beats him, women are powerful, frees the daughter, and then, final nail in the coffin, the good chieftain just completely throws his culture to the wind and changes everything and sets all the women free.
All Shabadai, be free!
For Carter, this is how we will remember you.
You know, and that would have been at the stage of development that they were at culturally. It seems that it probably would have been like another 100 years or something for that to happen. So now, and you know, Carter also just completely embarrassed the tyrannical chief as well.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, oh well, you know, no laws. The laws will stop me from making war, but I don't feel like, you know, because they never visit that planet again, eh? They go back.
Culture falls apart, good chieftain gets murdered by everybody else.
They go back like 5 years later and they've all been massacred and there's just major warfare.
Like,
ooh,
shit.
Let's just go back.
Let's just go fuck up another culture.
Go fuck up another
Push our
culture.
balls on them.
Yeah, so you know, the egregious culture meddling, the egregious, you know, like the inconsistency with the competence of our characters.
Heavy-handed dialogue, which isn't subtle and is blatant in its message.
The change of the moral high ground character from Daniel Jackson to Carter, who's the logic one.
Yeah, scientist.
And so, but the takeaway from this, and you've got to be very clear about this, is this episode is not indicative of the rest of the season. They dropped so many bad elements. It's one of the very few, the sort of two handfuls of episodes, falls down, and is
really bad.
Made, if you're a first time viewer, I guess watch it as much as you can stand it, and then move on because there's no real.
It doesn't offer anything.
Doesn't offer anything, and just pisses me off now at this point.
Garbage. Complete garbage. Alright, thank you for watching.
It'd be really good if you like, subscribe and comment.
And don't watch... What is the name of the episode?
Emancipation. Subtle there.
Yeah. Good job, Catherine Powers.